January 18, 2020. Jim channeling I am Kua and am with this instrument. We greet each of you in love and in light this afternoon. We, as always, are honored to be asked to join your circle of seeking, for this is the way in which we, ourselves, progress upon our spiritual journey, to reach out to those who call for our assistance, and attempt to share with them those concepts and ideas which are most important in their lives at this time upon their own spiritual journeys. As always, we shall preface our beginning with the request that you realize that we are not ultimate authorities. We are your brothers and sisters who have moved somewhat further upon the same path that you move at this time. Thusly, we would ask you to use the words and concepts which we share with you in whatever way has meaning for you at this time, and we would further ask you to leave behind any words and concepts which have no meaning for you at this time. This will allow us to speak more freely, knowing that we shall not be presenting you with a stumbling block upon your path. With that having been said, we would now ask if there is a query with which we may begin. Kathy: yes. Kua: thank you. I have a query concerning something I read recently in session 18. In a different context, Ra was mentioning the intelligent energy of the body complex, and my question is to ask you to expand upon what that means. The intelligent energy of the body complex. I understand that many have intentions of healing, or they may pray for the healing of the body complex, or for its balance and improvement in balance, or just in many ways. Recently I came across a scientific study that studied the effect of meditation upon the body. It discovered that the group that meditated, as opposed to the group that did not meditate, the group that meditated had a significant increase in the length of the telomeres, which are caps at the end of each chromosome in our DNA and inside each of our cells that carry the DNA, and that this protects and extends the life of these cells, which extends the life of the body complex. It happened because the meditation experience, the scientist found activated a gene in the body complex that released an enzyme called telomerase, and this enzyme then activated upon the telomeres in the chromosomes to have a healthy benefit, such as I just described, to lengthen the telomeres, which helped the cells to live longer and better. And this struck me that meditation can have this effect, and I would like to know more about that, as well as the intention and action of taking more healthy substances into the body, food and supplements with the same intention that we may have to help our body complex as well as our body, mind and spirit complex. Could you expand upon the intelligent energy of the body complex as it responds to our actions and intake of positive foodstuff as well as of meditation? Thank you. Kua: I am Kua, and am aware of your query, my sister. This is a query which is not easily answered, for there is much about the body complex that is yet not understood by your scientific community. However, the information which you have shared about the DNA within each portion of the body complex is, indeed, an accurate portion of the description of how the body complex is sustained by the intelligent energy of the one infinite creator. The body is closely aligned with the mind, being a creation of the mind that allows the mind to move about within your third density illusion, and allows the mind to express itself in a manner that may be helpful in the seeking of the love and the light of the one infinite creator that exists within all of the creation, including the mind, the body, and the spirit. The intelligent energy that enlivens the body is a kind of vivification of the body by the one creator which has created all that there is with its own beingness. Thus, the mind, as it is able to perceive its unity with the one creator, then is able to function by processing catalyst in the daily round of activities in a manner which comes more and more into unity with the one creator when successfully accomplished. That is the key, the processing of catalyst, the problems, the doubts, the disharmonies, the continual experience of all that is perceived by the five senses in the daily experience allows the seeker of truth to become able to unify its path of seeking with the love and the light, the love light, the intelligent energy of the one creator. This is the ideal situation. However, as you are aware, the ideal situation does not always exist for each and every conscious spiritual seeker. There will be difficulties and confusions along the path that prohibit a clear perception by the seeker of that which it is experiencing, as there is always some kind of misperception of catalyst that moves through the subconscious mind before being apprehended by the conscious mind. Therefore, the seeker of truth, then, in order to process the catalyst that comes before its notice, must, within the meditative state, examine this catalyst carefully in order to be able to penetrate more deeply into the heart of the nature of the catalyst and the meaning for the self within the incarnation and as programmed before the incarnation. Thus, the information which you share concerning meditation being helpful to the DNA encoding within the physical body is quite correct in that the meditative state provides the environment in which the seeker of truth may examine more clearly that which has become available to it through any of its five senses. Thus, the seeker, then, in the meditative state may be able to more carefully utilize and process all catalysts so that there is the maintaining of the health of the mind and the body as they seek the unity with the spirit. However, if there is some misperception or difficulty in processing this catalyst, then, oftentimes the catalyst will be given to the body by the subconscious mind in order that the symbolic representation of this catalyst in a form which you may call a disease is then, hopefully, more noticeable to the conscious mind in order that it may then be able to clearly perceive that which was not clearly perceived before. The utilization of foodstuffs that are of a helpful nature in order to fuel the body is a declaration by the conscious mind that the body is valued as an instrument of utilization of the third density experience, so that the mind may be able to partake in a more full sense through the, shall we say, ridding of the body through the illusion. The intake of the helpful foodstuffs is, then, that means of powering the body in a positive sense so that its abilities are recognized, appreciated, and given the necessary food to cleanly fuel the body in a sense of recognizing the needs of the body in whatever manner may be apparent to the conscious mind. Thus, the intelligent energy of the body is the overall fuel, shall we say, the enlivener, the quality that gives the body its essence of vitality so that it may serve the mind and the spirit in the joint seeking of the one which is in all. Is there another query at this time? Austin, I have one. QA. I was hoping that you could elaborate something that Ra said, and I'd like to read the whole quote. They're giving exercises to produce an acceleration towards the law of one, and in the first exercise they say, this is the most nearly centered and usable within your illusion complex. The moment contains love. That is the lesson goal of this illusion or density. The exercise is to consciously seek that love and awareness and understanding distortions. The first attempt is the cornerstone. Upon this choosing rests the remainder of the life experience of an entity. The second seeking of love within the moment begins the addition. The third seeking powers the second. The fourth powering or doubling the third. And then, a little bit later, they say, the conscious statement of self to self of the desire to seek love is so central an act of will, that, as before, the loss of power due to friction is inconsequential. My question is, it seems to me the central point of that is an attempt to seek love, and the intention to seek love, and not necessarily the successful finding of love in every moment. So, I'm wondering is the power that Ra talks about that builds in this attempt, is it necessary to find love for that power to build? Or is it just the attempt that empowers us? I was hoping that you could just elaborate on the difference between the attempt of finding love and the success of finding love. QA. I am QA and am aware of your query, my brother. This query has a bearing upon each individual's spiritual path. For within this third density illusion it is the task of the seeker of truth to find that love in its essence, and in its experience in its daily round of activities. The attempt to find love, rather than to be confused with anger or jealousy or disharmony, or any other emotion than love, is an attempt of purification of the perception of the seeker of truth. This is the foundation stone. This is the direction which has the most meaning for any seeker of truth. The attempt, then, is that which lays the framework for the seeker of truth to move and have its liveliness, shall we say, its vitality that is enhanced by the attempt. Each attempt, each intention, will produce some result. Whether it is complete in its entirety of perceiving the love in the moment, is of little importance. It is not necessary to be able to perceive the entirety of the love of the moment, for the love of the moment is infinite. It is not usually possible for any third density seeker of truth to be able to perceive the entirety of the infinite love that exists in each moment. However, it is possible to intend to seek that love and to find what is available to one's own abilities and perceptions. Therefore, as you power the seeking of love by the attempt, then, gains in the momentum, the intention, the quality of purity of the entity so seeking the love in the moment. This type of momentum, then, gains in its ability to receive or perceive more of that love as you move from moment to moment, gathering further momentum. This is the means by which each seeker of truth may empower its own seeking process. This is necessary in order to realize that the intention is that which is of prime importance for such a journey of seeking. The intention, then, is the motivator of the momentum that builds as the intention continues to be exercised in each moment of experience. This type of seeking is that which continues to purify the mental configuration of the seeker so that its daily seeking of love becomes a kind of meditation, a one-pointed meditation upon that love that is sought in each succeeding moment. This meditative state, then, is that which continues to offer to the seeker an increasing ability to apprehend more and more of that love that is in the moment, realizing that this is an infinite journey of seeking that one is upon. Thus, the intention is all. The results of the intention will continue to grow and grow until the cells of the seeker's body, mind, and spirit are imbued with such resounding love that this type of love, then, beams as a beacon to all those about such a seeker of truth. The finding, the seeking, the finding, the seeking, continues to build a kind of power, then, that is effective in giving inspiration and information to those within the circle of one's being in the third density illusion. Thus, as each seeker of truth within a group such as this is successful in finding that love in the moment, the experience of the entire group is enhanced so that each builds this intention, and the seeking, the finding, the seeking, the finding, then becomes a kind of cyclotronic action that has as its continuing result the explosion of love within the moment of each seeker of truth. Is there a further query, my brother? Gary, Q.A. Ra says that the first thing that happens in creation is that infinity becomes aware, and this moment or event, so to speak, is one and the same with the first distortion, the law of free will or the law of confusion. Then this free will finds a focus, and that begets the second distortion, or logos or love. It would seem that awareness is more fundamental or prior to love itself. If that is even a sensical thing to say, I would be interested in hearing your exploration of the nature of the relationship between awareness and love at the level of logos. Q.A. I am Q.A. and am aware of your query, my brother. The intelligent infinity that can be seen as total unity, is that which is at all times, and before any times. This intelligent infinity exists in a wholeness, in a completeness, in an entirety of being that needs no other source of experience until there grows within this intelligent infinity, a desire to be more than it is, realizing that it is, from any other point of view, infinite and all that there is, and yet the desire to be more begins to grow. This desire, then, manifests itself as a kind of will, a kind of funneling of this desire in a direction that may produce something more than the unity that it is, more in the sense that it is a movement from unity into will, into the wishing to be more. This, then, produces a power that is seen as a creative principle that can make more than there is, can paradoxically create through the energetic configuration of what you may call love, more than the intelligent infinity that existed before. Realizing that that intelligent infinity is also contained within the free will and the love of the logos, as you may call it. Therefore, the primal logos has, as its mission, we shall say, the meeting of the needs or the desire of the intelligent infinity that has been potentiated into that which may be seen as intelligent energy of the logos. This intelligent energy of the logos, then, moves in more and more intelligent patterns so that it begins to form within its own being a kind of structure or architecture that is potentially able to create an experience of intelligent infinity in what may be seen to be the infinite creation of the primal logos. This type of creation, then, has as its foundation stone the desire of the creator to know more of itself than intelligent infinity can express. We realize that this terminology is paradoxical at its base, for words cannot give a totally accurate representation of this entire process. Words can but give a shadow reflection, shall we say, of this process. However, this reflection is then utilized by the primal logos to create more and more of itself, more and more of the one infinite creator that exists within itself with the desire to know itself, so that the infinite creation of infinite logoi then becomes the framework within which the desire of intelligent infinity to know itself has the means to be expressed and experienced. Therefore, there is, within each logos, a kind of galactic expression of potentials or possibilities so that there is an infinity of opportunity for intelligent infinity to be able to know more and more of itself as the power of love offers this framework for experience. Is there another query at this time, my brother? Gary, how do the primal three distortions live within us as mind-body-spirit complexes? Q.A. I am Q.A. and am aware of your query, my brother. Each entity within each dimension is a logos in miniature. Each entity, therefore, has within it the crown, shall we say, which rests upon the head of the one infinite creator of the violet ray energy center. Within this entity, the crown of the one infinite creator, in all its power and potential, then, rests, awaiting the movement of love through the energy centers in a fashion that excites the light of each energy center, the light that is reflected in the colors of red through violet, the light that allows a greater and greater expression of intelligent energy, or love, through each energy center, so that the mind-body-spirit complex is then able, in some fashion, in each moment of its existence, to express a portion of the one infinite creator's desire to know itself. Thus, as the Kundalini rises from one energy center to the next, there is an expansive potential that is released, so that when catalyst is properly processed, there is an expanding ability of the mind-body-spirit complex to perceive and promote this energy outward in a means by which it relates to all other mind-body-spirit complexes that it comes in contact with throughout the life experience. Therefore, the energy centers that are activated allow an expression of love and light to move through and from the entity, beginning at the Blue-ray energy center, so that the mind-body-spirit complex, or the conscious seeker of truth, is then able to engage in a kind of exchange of energy or information that is potentially able to accelerate the process of evolution, both for itself and for those entities that it comes in contact with in order to process the illusions catalyst that is always present for each entity. Is there a further query, my brother? Gary, one more, and thank you. As we work with our focus, particularly as we collect that focus, become conscious of it, discipline our attention, and increasingly bring it to a one-pointed state, are we conducting a similar or even identical activity as the logos, or the second distortion? Qua, I am Qua and am aware of your query, my brother. You are most perceptive in being able to perceive that each entity, in whatever density, is indeed being able to focus the attention span, shall we say, of its expenditures of energy, so that there is the opportunity for each seeker to be able to share that power of the one infinite creator in some fashion in each energy center interaction with others. For the one creator exists in each energy center, and each expression of energies in this focused manner of the conscious seeker of truth. The conscious seeker, then, is able to bring its intentions and its desires, its will and its faith, into a kind of meditative one-pointed focus, for the realization of more and more of the one infinite creator that exists within the self and exists in an accelerated fashion or means by which it may be perceived as the energies of intelligent energy move upward from the red through the violet energy centers. Therefore, there is, for each conscious seeker of truth, the opportunity to expand energies in a more and more efficient manner, so that its apprehension and utilization of the daily round of catalyst may further propel it higher and higher along the energy centers, until the crown rests upon the conscious head of the mind-body-spirit complex. Is there another query at this time? Kathy, I have one. Qua. My query is that something that this group of seekers was discussing earlier before the channeling began, which touched on the topic of different frequencies existing in different regions, specifically in our country, different states, that we could begin to feel the difference in frequency as we visited them, or lived in these places, and I wonder if you could comment upon this idea of differences, but within the one unity of all there can be these differences in places, and how we can feel them in our own intelligent energy as entities. Qua, I am Qua and am aware of your query, my sister. Indeed, just as there are no two entities within the infinite creation that are alike, it is also true that in each area of a planetary surface, such as your Earth, there are energies that are unique to that specific area. These energies are brought into being by the accumulated populations and purposes for which the populations express their conscious and subconscious desires. This is done through the various means of the political structure, the social structure, the business structure, the religious structure, and so forth. There are, then, within all of the areas of your country and all countries, the, shall we say, families of experience that are expressed according to the traditions of the various families or entities that make up the various institutions that are predominate within each area of the geographical locations. These types of expressions of unique energies are that which also have similarities to other areas, so that there is the combination of similarity and disparity that one may become aware of as one experiences various geographic locations upon your planetary surface. These geographic locations have history that is created by entities such as yourselves, that have before them the challenge of making sense, shall we say, of their life patterns, and of attempting to construct various types of gatherings of social complexes that will allow them to perceive and function in a manner which gives them meaning and direction in their life patterns, whether it be the religious, the political, the social and so forth. Each of the structures are created in order that the entities living within the area of predominance or we search for the word, the type of affirmations or abilities of the area, so that there are opportunities offered to the residents of this area to participate in a wider and wider expression of their perception of what their life patterns are. This is the means by which each entity, then, may find a comfort in the regularity of the functioning of the various institutions that have jurisdiction within the area that is described by the state, the county, the city, and so forth. Is there another query at this time? Gary, QA. I wouldn't describe a group of men working together, or in leadership, necessarily as patriarchy the same way I wouldn't describe a group of women working together, or in leadership, necessarily as matriarchy. But, there is an experience of patriarchy whereby men intentionally hold a disproportionate share of power and exercise a dominance that consciously or unconsciously seeks to suppress the feminine principle. And that experience of patriarchy has been a predominant fundamental theme of our planet for several thousand years globally, with exceptions, of course. But that experience of patriarchy is the focus of my question, and I'm curious about how can heal and balance that expression of patriarchy. QA. I am QA and am aware of your query, my brother. The patriarchal system of governance and expression of power is that which has found its room to roam, shall we say, upon this particular planetary sphere for a great portion of what you would call time. This type of expression of power, or energy, or intention, is that which is based upon the male principle of the reaching. This type of principle is that, when used in a cooperative fashion, and a sensitive fashion, is that which may be inspirational to those entities existing within the patriarchy. However, it is also a principle which is easily misused and may be used to the detriment of many within its sphere of influence. When the reaching becomes the grasping and the holding into position so that certain entities are not allowed a free expression of their own free will, this type of patriarchy then demands that there be compliance with a certain set of values and intentions that are often not universal in expression or desire by those within the higher realms of the patriarchy. Thus, entities who wish to reform the patriarchal situation that may be predominantly of a male nature but also contain those of the female gender as well, are attempting at this time to enhance the type of expression that is more matriarchal, that which is feminine, that which awaits the reaching, that which does not have the temptation or the desire or the ability to be aggressive. The awaiting the reaching is that which is comforting, that which is cooperative, that which is generative of the expression of love that accepts all that are within the realm of influence and nurtures each within that realm of influence. Thus, the matriarchal type of expression of energies is that which is seeing the entire picture, the, shall we say, grander view, the overview, and is patiently awaiting the discovery of each entity within the illusion, be the entity biological male or female, that the old ways of patriarchy have served their purpose and have, perhaps, been in dominance overlong, needing to be balanced by the nurturing nature of the feminine principle that awaits the reaching. Is there another query at this time, my brother? Gary, yeah. The patriarchal model that you are describing and that I was asking about seems a fairly service to self-oriented model whereby those on the higher rungs suppress and dominate those on the lower, even to the point of manipulation and disempowerment. That negative model has manifested through this gender imbalance on this planet whereby it is males historically who are performing this action. Would it be possible, say, in another world or another society for this service to self model of dominance to manifest through the female principle whereby it would be females performing this activity? Or is this unique only to the male gender? QA. I am QA and am aware of your query, my brother. We find that in an infinite universe there are infinite possibilities that exist for all types of expression, be they patriarchal or matriarchal, as you have described. There are many ways by which the evolutionary process has allowed and enhanced the conscious desires of various entities existing within certain cultures, be they feminine or masculine. These desires have sometimes been utilized by the feminine principle that utilizes awaiting the reaching in a manner that seems to turn around the qualities of male and female principles. This type of reversing of principles is something that has seldom occurred upon most third-density planets. However, when it has occurred because there was a previous male patriarchy that provided the foundation for the experience of reaching and utilizing energies of others for the promotion of the self. This was, then, through various generations of utilization reversed in a sense by the more matriarchal portions of developing culture so that there was not the pure expression of the awaiting the reaching by the matriarchy. There was the awaiting of the opportunity to gather power from the patriarchal past so that the fruits of that type of relationship and functioning could be utilized in a more, shall we say, personal sense by those who felt the awaiting of the reaching was not totally effective in its allowance of equal experience of the culture, for each within the culture. Thus, there was an infection, shall we say, or a contamination of the matriarchal potential to be more nurturing and cooperative, so that there was a blending of the two that did not fully express the true nature of either patriarchy or matriarchy. Thus, there was the confusion, shall we say, that set in for a portion of time in many such experiments, so that there was not the desired result in the sense of being able to experience the equality of all entities within the cultural complex. Is there another query at this time, my brother? Gary, let me check in with the circle. Anybody have a question? Okay, I've got another one. Ra describes that the Logos architects a universe that is inherently hierarchical. It has ranking orders from greater to lesser, smaller to larger, and so forth. And that is evidenced in our own energy bodies and in so many other ways in nature, in the density systems, and so forth. So, I see that the polarities both have a concept of order and hierarchy, where the positive polarity, however, seeks to work with the divine order and surrender to that order, to discover and cooperate with the pre-existing order, whereas the negative polarity seeks a sort of false hierarchy whereby the individual will is imposed in order to create its own order. I think one of the key differences between the two is that the positive polarity recognizes that in hierarchy there is also holography, meaning that each station along the hierarchical line is also the entire one infinite creator. Could you comment on these two polarized conceptions of hierarchy and order? Kua, I am Kua and am aware of your query, my brother. Again, we find you are quite perceptive in your description of the two polarities and their utilization of the concept of the hierarchy from the higher to the lower in the expression of the unity and functioning of the one infinite creator. The positive polarity, in its most basic sense, has no polarity. As the beginning function of the Logos, there is, within the Logos, the desire to provide for intelligent infinity a means by which it might know itself with greater purity, with greater variety, and this desire to know itself, then, is provided by the various logoi that create the galaxies, that have within them the solar systems, that have within them the planetary spheres, that have within them the mind-body-spirit complexes, that may eventually become social memory complexes. There are these gradations of creation that allow for an increasing experience of the creator by the creator, so that this experience within the octave of densities, then, does take upon itself the polarization of the positive and the negative, so that there is an interaction or an interplay between these polarities within the third density illusion, most especially, as within this third density illusion, where the choice of polarities is made, the positively polarizing entities will follow the path of that which has been made apparent to them, the path that exists throughout all infinity of moving in harmony with their perception of the love and light. The qualities of unity of the one infinite creator that sees the service to others as the means by which progress may be made upon the positive path of seeking. The negatively oriented entities, however, in their utilization of the hierarchy of creation, have the opposite point of view, that is, that the creation is that which is at their disposal, that which must be put in order, that which is to be controlled in a fashion which gives power to the negatively oriented entity, and most especially, to those at the apex of power within the social memory complex of the negatively oriented entities. Thus, they see the creation as that which provides them with a path to the one infinite creator that they follow assiduously until they are at the level of the sixth density, wherein the paths must needs take each other in, for that which has been controlled, is that which is the other self, and the other self is seen, and must be seen, in the sixth density, as the same as the self. Therefore, the negatively oriented entities at that time are of necessity willing and able to reverse their polarities, so that they become the positively oriented entity that may further their journey through the hierarchy of the octave of experience. Is there a final query at this time? Gary, yeah, one more, and thank you so much for this line of questioning or your replies, therein, I should say. So, for a positively oriented society, say one in another third density world, not ours, or in higher densities, which is aware rather, let me step back. How does a positively oriented society honor and work with the natural hierarchical order of the universe, and also share power and authority in their societal structure or organizational structure? Kua, I am Kua and am aware of your query, my brother. The positively oriented societies are aware that there is a hierarchy to creation, that there is a hierarchy to their own beings within their energy centers. There is a hierarchy to the perceptions that are available to them as they begin their spiritual journeys and communal journeys of social societies. This hierarchy is that which is the apprehension of power to effect existence. The power is seen by positively oriented entities as that which is most effectively used when it is shared among all entities, thus utilizing the abilities and tendencies, the, shall we say, Structure of each entity's latent abilities to express themselves in various and sundry forms. The talents, the desires, the willingness to give, the willingness to partake, the willingness to join in cooperation. Therefore, this willingness to join in group decision-making is the feature which designates the positively oriented societies in their abilities to enhance each entity within the society's quality of life. Therefore, each positively oriented society has, as its primary desire, the meeting of each entity's needs that are within the larger society. No entity is seen to be more important than another. Each is seen to be equal in having the one infinite creator within its being. Each is seen to be equal as having the ability to serve that creator within the self and the other self. This ability to serve all, then, is that which designates the society as that which is most positively oriented in its very essence, in its foundation, in its statement of being and desire. Therefore, the positively oriented entities within such a culture reflect this type of being, this type of thinking, and this type of acting, so that they are able to meet the needs of those around them when it is seen that some have not that which they need. Therefore, there is the desire upon the part of all entities in such a culture to meet the needs of all, for each other self is seen as the self. There is not any difference seen between self and other self. There is the apprehension of the one infinite creator existing within all selves, so that as one looks upon another self, one sees the one sees the self, one sees the path to the one infinite creator in the serving of the other self, and the one infinite creator in all selves. At this time, we shall take our leave of this group and this instrument. We, as always, thank you for inviting our presence within your circle of seeking this day. You are our great inspiration as you move forward in your paths of seeking the truth within the third density illusion. We leave you in the love and in the light of the one infinite creator. We are known to you as those of Kua. Adonai Vasu Boragas.